morning, everyone. Good morning. Oh my goodness, it is such an honor to be here. I'm so overwhelmed. I was sitting there before and there were tears in my eyes because this environment it's electric. It's electric to be here. It's electric to feel the Spirit of God. It's electric to be surrounded by so many wonderful women. And I'm going to try not to cry because I'm so beautifully, beautifully overwhelmed. I'm so beautifully overwhelmed, and I'm so grateful to be here. I truly believe it's going to be an incredible day. I think that God has planned so many things for us today, so many things that He wants us to experience from Him, so many things that He wants us to receive, to realize, to realize for the first time. I love listening to the rain. I know not a lot of people are a fan of the winter. I love the winter, and I love listening to the rain. And I believe that every time it rains, every time there's a raindrop that falls on you, that's God's affirmation. There's a raindrop and He says, I love you. There's a raindrop and He says that you are beautiful. There's a raindrop that says that you are brave. And the way that it's pouring outside, He has so many amazing affirmations for you. So when you go outside, if you're going to your car, if you're coming back, if you get sprinkled with a little bit of rain, if you get showered with a lot of rain, that's God's affirmation of His love for you, of the things that He wants to do in your lives, of the things that He wants you to experience from. It's getting louder. That is awesome. Oh, that's so cool. It's getting so loud. Oh my gosh, that's so amazing. That's so amazing. Oh, I've had a picture since I was in high school of a little girl dressed in purple. Purple is my favorite color. And she's playing outside, and it was a beautiful day. The sun was out. This isn't even related to what I have to say, by the way. I'm sorry. But she's playing outside, and it's a beautiful day, and then it starts to rain, and kind of everybody runs inside. And she continues to play in the rain. She continues to play in the rain, and she is drenched. And she said, can't you see? My God loves me. I'm drenched because my God loves me, and He has all the affirmations in the world, and He wants to express that to me. And I truly, truly believe that today we're going to be so blessed, that today is going to be an incredible day. And He wants to speak to all of us in whichever way that is. And I just pray that we will soften our hearts today. We will come before Him and we'll be ready to receive. He knows exactly where you are. He knows what you're going through. He knows the place that you are coming from. And He wants to answer all the questions that you have for Him. He wants to tell you that He loves you. He wants to tell you that He's willing to meet you where you are at, wherever that is. And He's waiting for you to just soften your heart and to receive Him. And I believe that He's going to do something today. Okay, I need to rein myself in a little. So I love this year's theme, elliphoros, having wings, being able to fly. And for me, that expression, that adjective is God saying that He's gifted us with wings. And in gifting us with wings, He's asking us and He's calling us to use those wings. So I'm going to share a little bit about my story, about where I've come from. I don't know how I got here on this stage, but it's a part of the way that God works, and I'm hoping that that will resonate with you guys today. So I'm 24 years old. I was essentially raised in Durban. I've been in Durban for the past 2 years. I studied at St. Mary's, as that picture shows. Oh my God, I don't know where you found that photo from. I matriculated in 2011, and I thought I knew what I wanted to do. I said two things. I said, God, I want to go to Cape Town. I want to go to study at University of Cape Town, and I want to study to become a doctor. I'm a type A personality, so I was like, everything's got to be in check. I've got my life together, 10, 15, 20-year plan set ahead of me. Those are my two conditions, God. Medicine at UCT. I'm not taking anything else. If that doesn't happen, I'm going to come back, I'm going to sit here on the couch at home, and my parents are going to have to deal with it. And He listened. Unfortunately, I was able to study medicine. I thought I knew exactly what I wanted. I knew, I thought I knew that exactly what my life was going to look like, and I was ready. I was ready to dig my feet in, and I was ready to kind of start the race and to go forth. And there's a saying that says when we make plans, God laughs. And I'm pretty sure he had a bit of a chuckle. I'm sure he just kind of was like, oh, I'm still going to be here, but go ahead. You're going to see what happens after this. And I've definitely seen. And so I did medicine for a year. I started the second year, and very shortly into that career path, I could tell that this is not where I was supposed to be. I was not very happy, my heart was heavy, it wasn't the environment that I was supposed to be in. But as I said, I'm very meticulous, I'm a perfectionist, I like to get things right, and I like to get them right the first time. I like to be in control, I need to make sure all my ducks are in a row. If one duck goes missing, I'll be like, hey, punishment, or come back, come sit here. And so I said to myself, I'm not gonna stop, I'm not gonna bring it up with my parents, I'm not gonna do anything with it. My mind is stronger than my emotions. It's stronger than how I'm feeling. Because in my head, I equated stopping or having a conversation about how I was feeling as quitting, wanting to quit the thing that I'd set out to do. And I saw quitting as failure. And being a failure meant that I wasn't good enough. It meant that I wasn't meant to do anything. It meant that I wasn't good enough to try and take anything on. It meant that I wasn't good enough as a person for myself. And so I said, nope, I'm just going to keep pushing. Unfortunately, my dad came to Cape Town during my second year of studying medicine. And we went for lunch, and he kind of looked at me, and he said, are you okay? And I said, yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. And he said, no, seriously, are you okay? And in that moment, I had to have a very honest conversation with him. And more importantly, I had to have a very honest conversation with myself, and I had to admit that I wasn't doing okay. I had to admit that I felt like I was a failure, and I felt like I just wasn't good enough, and I didn't have what it took to be in that place. And my dad said, well, what are you going to do about it? And I said, what do you mean? I'm doing it. I'm going to finish this program. 6 years, 2 years of internship, like next 8 years are set. I know what I'm doing. And he said, why would you do that to yourself? And I didn't have an answer for him, because it sounds ludicrous when you say to someone else, I'm scared I'm quitting and I'm scared I'm failing, especially when it's something that didn't seem so big, but in my head felt so big. And so I kind of didn't really have an honest answer for him. I said, I don't know. And he said, no, if we have the means, we have the opportunity, if there's something else that you can find that you would like to study, go and study it. And fortunately, it was the start of the second year, so I transferred, I changed faculties, and I landed up studying politics, and I landed up studying psychology. And it was like a breath of fresh air. I was so grateful. I was so grateful to him. I was so grateful to my mom and my family for being so supportive. And so I finished my degree there. I kind of pushed through, and it was an amazing experience, but at the same time, it was very taxing on me emotionally, mentally. Varsity is tough, man. Like, I don't know what else is out there afterwards, but oh my goodness, I think I'm ready to tap out just after that. So I was, excuse me, I was very tired, and my parents could see that I was tired and that I just needed a bit of a break. And they're like, well, come back home and do what you said you were going to do if you didn't get into medicine, which is study how to fly. And I was like, cool. And so I've been here for the past 2 years. I've been here for the past 2 years, and I've been studying how to fly, and it's been an incredible experience. And honestly, I don't know if this is the end of it. I don't know if I'm going to become an official pilot or start flying you guys on like SAA, Kalula, Mango. Maybe I'll see you guys, let you into the cockpit. I'm not entirely sure if that's what I'm supposed to do, but I know that right now this is the period that I'm supposed to be in, and I'm so grateful for it. And one of the things that being able to fly has really shown me and given me the opportunity to experience is perspective. Being up in the sky, seeing the skyline, seeing the city, seeing the ocean, it's such a breathtaking moment. And in so many occasions, it's helped me to realize what Ruth said yesterday, that God's got that bird's eye view over our lives. And it's helped me to see that I'm so easily fixated on the finite detail, on the small, meticulous detail that I have to get perfect, and I forget that actually there's a much bigger plan to my life that I can't even conceive of right now. And it's taught me that everything happens for a reason, even if it doesn't make sense. I told God, medicine, UCT, or nothing, and He worked that into my life, and He said, that's fine, I'm going to steer you even when you decide that you're going to do your own thing as if you know better. And in that, he's taught me that I went to medicine for a reason. It didn't make sense at the time, but I came across and met the most important and beautiful people in my life that are still my closest friends today. And I would do that terrible, terrible year of medicine all over again so I could meet those people, so that I could be blessed by those people. And I studied psychology and politics so I can stand in a beautiful room like today and want to cry because the atmosphere is electric. because I can identify with being a woman now in the society in today's time and be overwhelmed by how strong and brave and beautiful and intelligent and weak and vulnerable we can all be in one huge encompassing bubble of awesomeness. You know, I can stand in a room today and be really grateful to be surrounded by so many women. And so I've had to take a very hard look at myself, and I've had to readjust and to remember that actually I may feel, and it happens all the time, I may feel like I've made bad decisions, I may feel like I'm not worthwhile, I may feel like all the bad decisions that I make are not worthwhile and they add up to my worth, but you know, God has a bigger plan than that. And I've been praying into this conference, I've been praying into this morning, and I've had such a strong feeling of sometimes that's what we do. We take ourselves out of the game because we think about the things that we've done, we think about the mistakes that we've made, we think about all the things that has led us up to this moment, and we say we're not good enough. We say we're not worthy. We say we don't have what it takes. And I've had an image in my head. I'm not very imaginative. So when I get an image, I know that it's God trying to be like, hey, I'm nudging you in this direction because art is not my thing. And I've had this image in my head of a bird, and it's sitting on an extended branch. And it's got its claws clinging to the branch, and it's a beautiful day outside. The sun is out, there's like a beautiful gentle breeze, and it's peak conditions for this bird to fly. It's peak, it's optimal. All the other birds are experiencing this weather, the conditions, and this bird is clenched. It's sitting on this branch, and it's clenched, and it's saying, I'm not going to do it. It's got its wings tucked underneath itself, and it's saying, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to fly. I'm not going to use the wings that God has given me to fly. I don't have what it takes. I don't know if I'll get to wherever it is that I'm going. I'm scared I'm going to fall. I'm scared of letting go of control. And I think that we do that to ourselves. We say, too much drama, too much heartache, too much pressure, like to be in control, too much fear of the unknown. I'm going to sit on this little branch, and I'm not going to nudge. Even though that wind, the breath of God, is calling on us to unclench and to extend our wings and to fly. And have you ever done that? I don't know, maybe if it's just me. And I actually wonder how many of you are doing it now. Your teeth are clenched. You're relaxed and you're calm, but your teeth are clenched. I've done it so many times where I'm like sitting and I'm trying to get comfortable and I'm trying to relax. And I realize that my teeth are still clenched and I have to unclench them. And sometimes they've been clenched for so long that my jaw clicks. And it's a terrible thing because it means you're tense and you're holding on and you aren't comfortable and you aren't relaxed. And I feel like God is saying you need to unclench, you need to relax, you need to spread your wings, you need to be willing to catch that breath, to catch the wind and to fly. And you need to unclench the fear. You need to unclench the unknown. You need to unclench the fact that you think you're not worthy. You need to stop saying that all of the things that have led you to this moment make you not good enough. You need to let go of the fear of what the future holds because you're scared. You need to stop taking yourself out of the game. Stop taking yourself out of the race because you think that you're not supposed to be exactly where you are. You are sitting in the seats that you're supposed to be sitting in today on this very day for a reason. God has given you His wings, His strength. He has destined those wings for you, not for you to sit and to clench and to not listen to Him as He calls on you with that wind. He's asking you to let go. And in John 3 verses 30, it's my scariest and best verse. It says, "He must become greater, I must become less." And it knocks me off my feet because it's so simple, but it's so accurate. We focus inward, we focus on ourselves, we focus on what it is that I can do, what it is that I have done. And that's why we're sitting in fear on this branch, because we're saying, me, I can't. Instead of being like, God can. God will. He has before, He will again. He's given you the wings, He's given you the ability to fly, and He wants you to do that. Not in your own strength, but in His. And we focus on ourselves and we say, I've made all these mistakes. God doesn't care. He doesn't dictate your worth on the things that you've done and the things that you haven't done. He has forgiven you before you've even asked for forgiveness. And He's saying to you, focus on me, look at me. look at me. I went scuba diving for the first time for my birthday, and I was kind of freaking out because it just seemed unnatural. I was under the water and it seemed so unnatural. And my instructor, she like kind of grabbed me, and I was like, oh, she kind of grabbed me and she said, look at me. Don't look at where you are, look at me. And it calmed me right down because it made me realize that actually what I'm doing isn't unnatural if God has called me to do it. He's saying, look at me, don't focus on yourself. I know that when you look at yourself, your worth fluctuates. If I counted all the good things versus all the bad things that I did, I wouldn't have the confidence to leave my house, especially because we put more weight on the bad stuff than we do on the good stuff, right? We're so much harder on ourselves, and we say, this is the full list of all the things that we've done that are bad, and like this is the list of the good things that we've done. And then we say, oh no, there's no way. I wouldn't have the confidence. I wouldn't have let God put me up here if that's what I was going on. And God is saying, look at me, focus on me, focus on me. And I think it's so important for us to fly because when we do, there are so many opportunities. There are so many doors that are opened. I believe that God has and continues to always go before us. And I think in being willing to unclench and being willing to take heart and in being willing to choose to take flight, we'll be exposed to the spaces that God has carved out specifically for us, to the spaces that He's chosen and has selected and handcrafted for us to exist in. You choosing to fly may encourage someone else to fly. You getting to your destination once you've decided to fly may be you enabling someone to encounter God through you. Who knows? God knows. God knows the purpose that He has ordained and destined for you. And it'll be a blessing to the people that He has put in your way for them to experience God. And He'll bless you too. You'll find that actually, oh my goodness, there's just so much goodness in Him. Even though this is scary, there's so much goodness in Him when you choose to find your voice and you choose to heed into and to lean into the things that He's called you to do. And it's scary. I'm nervous being up here, believe it or not. It's very scary. But think about birds when they migrate. Ruth was explaining yesterday that when birds migrate, they flock together. And they don't necessarily have like Siri being like, after the third cloud, turn left. They kind of, they fly where it is that they're meant to fly to the next destination into the new season. And I believe that God is doing that for us. And when birds migrate, they don't know, I don't think they know, I don't know how it works, but I think they have God's intuition that tells them, find rest here, continue to fly. Find rest here, continue to fly. And I believe that those birds aren't scared that they will be provided for. The birds aren't scared that they'll get to the destination that they get to, and they always do. They're always provided for along the way, and they always get to the final destination. And I think God says exactly the same thing to us. He's given us His guidance. He's given us His navigation system, and He'll say to us, now is your time to fly. Now is your time to rest. Time to fly, time to rest, and He'll provide along the way. He's gone before you to provide for you. In Hebrews 12, verse 1, it says, therefore we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses. Let us throw off everything. Let's throw off. Let's unclench. Let's let go. Let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles. And let us run. Let's fly. Let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. As I said before, God has carved out a space for you that He wants you to exist in. He has a race set just for you. And He knows the type of wings that you need. And He knows the endurance that you have. And He knows what you are capable of. But He is more capable, which is why we need to focus on Him. And He said that I have got you. I would like for you to unclench. I'd like for you to unleash your claws, to unclench your claws, unclench your wings. Choose to take heart, take that big breath of confidence in, and choose to take flight for me, because I've got you. And there's a race for you that I have gone before you, and I want you to exist in. And I'd like for you all to just take a look around for a second. Take a look at how many women are in here, how many people are in here. There are lots of people in here, just so you know what I'm dealing with right now. There are lots of people in here. And imagine if all of us decided that were going to lean into the faith. Imagine if all of us decided that we're going to lean into the mighty breath of God in that wind. Imagine if all of us decided that we're going to listen to that nudging feeling. I think some of us have a nudging feeling that's been in their heart for a long time, saying that this is what God's saying, this is what I've called you to do. And you've kind of been like, oh no, God, like I'm chilling, like I'm fine here. I think some of us have had a calling and we've just been too scared. Imagine if all of us decided to let go of the branch, to unclench our wings, to take heart, to take the big breath in, that big breath of confidence, of God's confidence in us, and to choose to take flight. Imagine the impact that we would make. Imagine if all of us stopped focusing on ourselves, focused on God, focused on the gifts God has given us, focused on the opportunities that God has given us, focused on the love that God has for us throughout this journey, the provision that God has for us throughout this journey, and chose to fly and to land in those spaces and to occupy those spaces, whether it is our families, our friends, the communities that we lived in. Imagine how we could change the world, all of us sitting here. And imagine what that could do as a ripple effect. And imagine the way in which God's kingdom would be glorified and God would be glorified through that process. I think that's amazing. I think that's amazing if we got rid of our fear. Perfect love drives out fear. God's perfect love drives out fear. And if we lean into that, we hold on to that, we clench, well, unclench, but if we engaged into that, I think God could change our lives. And I think it's so cool that God wants us to help change other people's lives. And He's giving us the opportunity to change other people's lives. I love quotes. And I just find them very inspiring. And they're kind of like a little pick me up and go in case you forget everything else that I've said today. And the quote that I found today is by a man called Napoleon. And it says, "Until you spread your wings, you'll have no idea how far you can fly." And imagine if we chose to spread our wings. Imagine if we chose to spread our wings, just how far God would let us fly. And just how far God would say we can continue to fly. Even when we feel like, I think I've done enough. God would be like, no, I'll say when you've done enough. Because there's so much more that I have in store for you. There's so much more that I want you to experience. There's so much more that I want you to be blessed with. And clench your wings, ladies. I promise it's not that scary. I mean, yeah, it's scary, but I promise it's worth it. Can I ask you all to stand for me, please? So I love conferences like this because I think it was Jax or Ruth who said yesterday that they're like a spa for your soul. And I love that. And I know that Monday we're going to wake up and we're going to be super invigorated. Tuesday, super invigorated. Thursday gets a little bit shaky. Next week we're like, oh, did it happen? And that's the doubt. That's negative doubt that we don't want to happen. So I would like for us to have a mantra or like a saying that we can say to ourselves every morning when we go into the bathroom, before we encounter our husband, before the coffee, before, just before everything just kind of hits the fan. And it's unclench. So when we say unclench, I'd like you to release, let go, unclench your jaw. We're going to take a deep breath in, and we're going to inhale and exhale. And we're going to say, take heart. And as we say, take heart, we're going to stand in a superhero stance. So we're going to unclench. We're going to release. Inhale, exhale, take heart. I see you ladies in the back. Take heart. And we're going to choose. We're going to say choose. Well, not choose, but we're going to say take flight. Okay, so unclench. Take heart. Take flight. One more time. Unclench. Take heart. Take flight. God has got you, and He wants you to fly. Thank you.